I have had different experiences which have kind of freaked me out a little bit. And I genuinely didn't think they were going to freak me out until it happened. And I was like, oh my God, this is terrifying. Okay, you just called yourself an influencer? No, it's sarcasm. And if it ever doesn't become sarcasm, please, I give you permission to kick me in the shins. Do your damage. I don't care. Just the shins. That will hurt enough to make me learn my lesson. It was coming from a place of wanting to be validated. And is that any different now? The artist inside of me. I want to be artist. I want to be... I don't know what this is. That is definitely... If somebody made a Wikipedia page about me, like not as a joke, I'd be like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Also, I'm never going to make one about myself. Again, if that happens, I allow you to kick me in the head this time. Actually, no, probably shouldn't have said that. Kick me in the bum. You might be like a kickboxer, and then I'm inviting like a kickboxer to come and kick my head. No. I actually got kicked in the head once by somebody who cartwheeled next to me. I used to do gymnastics. It was like the whole room just like disappeared. Anyway, I'm not good at being kicked in the head. I've had a really confusing time with understanding the concept of fame and what I want from making content, because I think there are some people who make content who do it just for fame, and I have always been in a place where I've been like, I don't necessarily need to or want to be famous, right? But it's more complicated than that. And I'm going to today get into my very small taste of fame, in inverted commas. Basically, the other day, I'm going to tell you the story in full, but the other day, over the past few weeks, I should say, I have had different experiences which have kind of freaked me out a little bit. And I genuinely didn't think they were going to freak me out until it happened. And I was like, oh my fucking God, this is terrifying. So I'm going to start from the beginning. And I don't know, I feel like this is interesting. I feel like fame is such an interesting topic because some of us seek it and some of us don't, and that's fine. But my view of being famous has changed, right? So let's get into fame and my little naughty taste of fame. Oh God, there's so much to talk about. Right. Okay, firstly, let's talk about what fame means. I mean, what is the definition of fame? I didn't even look that up. What is the definition of fame? I'm sorry, I should have looked this up beforehand. The state of being known or talked about by many people, especially on account of notable achievements. Now, notable is a positive word, I would say, but you don't necessarily always become famous because of positive reasons, and that is kind of one of the things that scares me, and sometimes you don't have control over that. So yeah, being famous, basically being known by a lot of people. And I guess, how do you know if you're famous? Well, it's pretty subjective, to be honest. I think there are certain people who are going to know, obviously they're famous, right? Justin Bieber. I feel like if I said Justin Bieber to anyone in the world, they would know who he is. It's like, even my grandma probably knows who Justin Bieber is. Even my dad. Whoa, that was one I should have said. Actually, I think he might be the only man in the world who doesn't know who Justin Bieber is. Or let's say David Beckham, Tom Cruise, Elvis Presley. There are certain people, A-list celebrities, who are literally the whole household names, they're called, right? Everybody knows who they are. Even if you don't follow whatever they're doing, even if you don't know what they're doing, even if you don't care what they're doing, they're still there, you know them, and people talk about them. And that is a whole nother level of fame. Now, I think what's happened over the past few years decades, I should say, is fame has been taken out of the control of basically the management of celebrities, and it's been taken, basically people can put themselves on the internet. YouTube started 15 years ago, and before that people couldn't really put themselves on the internet. Like, you could, but like no one really cared. And then the influencer was born. Now, I hate it. Izzy, my friend, always says like, oh, you're becoming an influencer, and I'm like, that is such a I don't want to be that. I identify more as a content creator. I like to think I don't want to be like I influence people. I would rather be like I make content and I like to be creative with it, and I like to have a good time with it, and I hope that other people have a good time with it and it helps other people. I don't want to be like the sole purpose of my existence is to influence people. But anyway, that's just semantics, I suppose, but I think she says it in like a sarcastic way, but I'm still like, please don't use that word, like ew. If ever I refer to myself as an influencer, it is because I'm joking or being sarcastic. And I think a lot of people don't realise when I'm being sarcastic. They're like, okay, you just called yourself an influencer? No, it's sarcasm. And if it ever doesn't become sarcasm, please, I give you permission to kick me in the shins. Like, do your damage. I don't care, because I won't. Oh, God. I might end up regretting that. But yeah, kick me in the shins. Nowhere else, just the shins. That will hurt enough, okay, to make me learn my lesson. I always want to remain a humble person, and I understand how fame gets to people's heads. Now, I always joke to Tom, my boyfriend, I'm like, now that I'm a famous YouTuber, or like now that I'm amazing at storytelling, like, and he like rolls his eyes and he's like, shut up, that's so disgusting. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But I'm working on my storytelling and I'm working on making my videos better. So it's like, it is sarcastic because I don't want to like blow my own ego up, but it is kind of true, you know, I am trying to become better at it, but not necessarily. Okay, look, I want to be honest. Let's talk about, okay, no, we're not getting there yet. I was going to talk about my fame over the years, my, not dealings with fame, but like my view of fame. But let's talk about, again, like what does fame mean? So we started talking about it. I think it's really hard because you can't like quantify it. You can't be like, okay, you have like 1 million followers. I think that's a good indicator. Once you hit 1 million, like a lot of people do have 1 million followers. But once you hit 1 million, like that's quite a lot. Or I think if you get over like, to be honest, 500,000 on YouTube or something, but I think that ballpark's going to keep going up because there are a lot of people with over 1 million followers now, and I think but like I don't think we're there yet, you know. I'm also like kind of worried. I really enjoy making YouTube videos, and I'm like, one day, like, what happens if it just disappears tomorrow? Like, I'm sure, to be fair, I think someone else would make something similar to YouTube. Like, it wouldn't just go, okay, let's just stop making videos and stop uploading things, like whatever. Someone would take over and make a new platform for sure. So I don't think we've got to be fearful of that. But yeah, I was going to say it could be taken away, as in TV could be like, YouTube can't exist anymore because we want the whole cut of the industry. But it's like, no, because anyone can just go and make their own YouTube and then just be like, look, I made this video channel, everybody start using it, please. Okay, so you can base it on the number of followers you have. I think generally, being in the situation I am, where I do create content, I have noticed that the number of followers you have it's like money. It's like, okay, how rich are you? And it's kind of, people only really care about you or what you can offer to them, which I get, it's transactional, okay, like brands or whatever, but they only really care when you have a certain number of followers. And I get that. It's like, you wouldn't put an advertisement out on like a fucking country lane, would you, if you wanted to sell to like tweens? Is that what they're called? I don't know. But like, you would put it in the middle of a city or like near a school, or you'd put it on YouTube or something, wouldn't you? You'd put it where people would see it. So if, let's say on my channel, some of my videos have only got like 30 views. Like, no one's going to really care about that. But yeah, some of my videos have, I think my highest one ever is at nearly 20k, which is quite a lot for my channel. But there are other things, media coverage. So if people started writing news articles about me, I'm going to talk about myself as in this as an example, not because I want everyone to be like, Dawn's famous, but it's like, it's just easier to refer to myself as the, in quotes, famous person. Okay, so if I started walking down the street and people were recognizing me, I would be like, that's interesting. That must mean my stuff's getting out, right, to a bigger audience, rather than just like a locational, geographical audience. It's getting out to a wider audience. And obviously, if I'm creating Bristol content, I live in Bristol in England. If I'm creating Bristol content and I'm walking around Bristol and people recognize me, well, that's kind of like obvious, right? But if let's say I create like self-help or body related stuff, then if I was walking around Bristol, it's not specific to Bristol. If I was walking around Bristol and people were like, oh yeah, I've seen your videos, that would be like, oh, okay, wow, that's impressive. Apart from my friends who have seen my videos. And it's like, yeah, thanks. What are the other things? Public appearances, getting invited to stuff. I feel like that comes quite a bit later. Oh, Wikipedia page. That is definitely, if somebody made a Wikipedia page about me, like not as a joke, I'd be like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Also, I would probably go through and read it and be like, that's wrong. I'm never going to make one about myself. Again, if that happens, I allow you to kick me in the head this time. Actually, no, probably shouldn't have said that. Kick me in the bum. It's working its way up the body. I think head is a little bit far, because you might be like a kickboxer and then I'm inviting like a kickboxer like to come and kick my head. No. I actually got kicked in the head once by somebody who cartwheeled next to me. I used to do gymnastics and I honestly thought I was going to pass out because it was like the whole room just like disappeared. Anyway, I'm not good at being kicked in the head. So, impact. I mean, there's lots of things, but they're not really measurable. But those things are measurable, you know? Are you getting recognised? How often? By how many people? Media coverage. Are you getting articles? How many? Social media presence. Well, followers. That's a number. Public appearances. Again, you can quantify that. Wikipedia page. Do you have it or don't you? Fan base. Again. Achievements and awards. I mean, yeah, you could get achievements and awards. Obviously, like if you're a YouTuber, for example, you can get like nominated for the Streamies or whatever. Impact, you can't really judge that like measurably. Oh, I have really bad tummy pain. I don't know what's going on, but it hurts. Trapped wind, I think, but it's like right at the start of my digestive system, so I've got a lot of pain to go until it works its way out, which is going to be fun tomorrow. I'm working at a new place tomorrow. I'm working at a new hospital, and if I'm farting, they're not going to love me. But the good thing, okay, little side note, the good thing about working in a hospital is it's quite often stinky. So if you fart, not necessarily you, just saying. It's the same if you have a dog. Pretty good. Oh, I think that's a dog. Gross. Obviously, if it's audible, you've got a problem. But I think a lot of the time farts are silent. Also, side note, how to make a fart silent. Let it out really slowly if you have good anal control. And then when a little bit comes out, let the rest out. And that is my foolproof way. I mean, I don't think I've had any incidents using that method. Endorsements and sponsorships. Okay, so I am getting this now. Fucking hell. I can't remember, what did I say it in? Was it I said it in my last podcast. I was like, I keep getting all these spam bots basically messaging me on Instagram. they don't count, right? What I'm talking about is people have, they won't necessarily like pay me like a set amount, but they have offered to like give me stuff for free. I've got one that I'm currently in the process of, and I have ones that work on commission, or I've had ones that have like given me free stuff or offered to. I haven't necessarily taken it up. The issue is, number one, I'm not the kind of person who's going to be like, I won't say yes to anything. You know, I want it to be, I don't want my followers to be like, fucking hell, she's trying to advertise car oil. What does that even have to do with her? Like, it literally doesn't mean anything. Yeah, she has a car, but like, I don't need any engine oil, all right? I would never do that. Again, I like to think so. And if I do, kick me in the thigh. There's lots of kicking going on. So I want to make sure that I basically only endorse stuff, one, that I actually think is good, because otherwise that's just throwing my reputation and my credibility down the drain. And I'm like the kind of person who wants people to trust me, you know, like working as a doctor. It's like, you know, people don't trust you. If you start lying, then you're a bit fucked. Now, I think I have a very interesting take on being famous, because I am a doctor. I'm not just like an 18-year-old wannabe TikToker who doesn't necessarily have a career and they don't have nothing to lose, but they have a lot less to lose than their medical career. But they also don't have anything to fall back on. So I'm in like a kind of, also, I'm in a better position, number one, because I do have a side job. Number two, I do have a career. Number three, I'm older. I think that is great. I tell you what, if I was 18, I wouldn't be able to do this. Like, no way. But again, I'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, I am getting some sponsorships. Is that what you call it? I mean, I would call it more like, yeah, endorsements, them sending me stuff. The thing is, I'm honest, and I feel a bit awkward if people send me stuff and it's really shit, and I'm like, I think I would just say no, I'm not going to promote that. And watch someone like clip this out in 10 years and I'm like, come and use our lipstick, Ichiban for men. That's a Friends quote right there, if you didn't know that. When Joey does a Japanese advert for blue lipstick for men. So yeah, I have had a few. I've had like lots of what I would call fake ones, or like bots, right? Like I had Korean beauty supplies, or like that's a dodgy one, I would say. Like I'm not gonna, no, I just don't reply to them. And if they keep messaging me and I think they're like a genuine human, then I'll maybe say like, no, I don't think it's for me, sorry. But generally they are robots. I don't know how. They just get a robot to email you. But I have had some which are coming. I've got one coming out I'm going to make a video about. I'm going to get some stuff from them. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I am looking forward to that, actually. It's actually a clothing thing. So I am a little bit worried because I'm losing weight. So I'm like, it's a bit ropey, you know. I could get stuff maybe that's like below my size, but then I wouldn't be able to try it on. Anyway, that's my current issue of the month. I guess you just have to buy clothes and just deal with it. I don't know, get it altered or something. And then, yeah, that's it really. That's what fame means, I suppose. So, let's talk about my views on fame over the years. When I was younger, I was obsessed with famous people. Not in like a way that I wanted to be famous, but like I used to walk around Tesco and I would be like, oh my fucking God, literally in my like hometown. Like I wasn't in LA or something. I wasn't in London. Like, fair enough, maybe. But like, I was in Gloucester, which, for those of you who don't know, is literally not a place of any noteworthy activity. The only thing that's happened there, two things. Number one is Harry Potter was filmed there. Gloucester Cathedral, worth checking out. It's a nice cathedral. Number two, oh wait, I went to school there. No, joking. Number two, Doctor Who was filmed there. Done. That's it. Cheltenham, right next door, has the Cheltenham Races, Cheltenham Science Festival, Cheltenham Literature Festival. It is a lot more. There's a lot more like stuff that you would go, oh yeah, I know Cheltenham. Not many people know Gloucester. People around here know Gloucester because it's only down the road, but it's not somewhere you need to go, okay? Go to the cathedral and then leave quickly. All right. So I was walking around Tesco in Gloucester, and I remember walking around the aisles, and like, I used to have mega parasocial relationships. I used to think that I like knew celebrities, that I was like really good friends with them or whatever, and I wanted to know everything about them. And I don't know. Anyway, my biggest obsession as a child was Billy Joel Armstrong. Billy Joe? Billy Joel. Billy Joe. I think it's Billy. Oh my God. How do I not know? From Green Day. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's. I thought it was Billy Joe. Billy Joe. Yeah, it is Billy Joe. I don't know. Billy Joel is a person. Who is that? Billy Joel. American singer, songwriter. Okay. Also American singer, songwriter, as well as Billy Joe. Confusing. So I used to walk around Tesco thinking Billy Joe Armstrong is going to be around the corner and we are going to fall in love. Bear in mind I was 10. Okay? I was 10. It's not as though I was like a 25-year-old supermodel. You know? 10-year-old. So thank God that didn't happen. I think I would have died. Like, I wouldn't be here to tell the story. So anyway, I used to be like kind of obsessed with particular famous people. In particular him. I don't know why. I loved the music, Green Day's music, and still do. And I was obsessed. Now, as I get older, I am not obsessed, really. I have a few famous people, YouTubers or whatever, that I do follow. But I'm not like a mega follower of lots of things. I listen to currently rarely one podcast, and I did listen to more, but yeah, I don't know. I just find it really hard to like connect with like some of these people, because you have to get to know them, and if you don't know them then you don't really care, and they have to like, you have to want to know them. So yeah, anyway, by having them giving you some kind of value. So I was really shy as a kid, I would say. I don't know. Was I? I didn't think I was shy until somebody that knows me wrote on one of my YouTube videos, "Oh, Dawn, you used to be so shy. It's so good to see you coming out of your shell." And I'm like, was I? I think I wasn't like necessarily shy, but I was self-conscious, and I was also younger. And when you're younger, you are in a little shell a little bit, like, unless you're, I don't know, some kind of very extravagant person. I don't know, like your parents are circus goers or something, circus workers, performers, that's the word. And you've been like on the stage your whole life or whatever. But I was just a normal person, my dad walking me to school, going to school and walking home. And what else did I do as a child? I can't even think. Oh, fantasize over Billy Joe. So that was kind of me. And I was like, I have no desire to be famous. Like, I'm quite happy just being me. like just existing and no one knowing who I am, or people knowing who I am, but like not to a level that it's like problematic. I think because in my head I was like, you're either exceptionally famous like Billy Joe Armstrong, or you're just me. Like there's no in between. I couldn't see that there was like an in between. It was like you're famous or you're not, and that's the end of it. But now I see the way of the warrior, and I can see the fact that it's not black and white. It's very like spectrumy. Now, I had some real, I would say not. I had some real existential problems over from like January when I stopped doing medicine, and I like did a lot of YouTube videos and I just fucking smashed them out. They were shit, but I smashed them out because I wanted to practice. So I really like started hitting my content creation hard. I'm really hot. In January. And I eventually went back to work in May, I think. So I had like 5 months off, not out of desire. Okay, not out of will. It was sort of not really forced upon me, but it was like the paperwork was taking ages, blah, blah, blah. You don't care. But I was like, ugh. It was so stressful. I think that's why I put on a lot of weight. I was really stressed. I wasn't leaving the house. It was winter and I was depressed. And I was making a lot of videos as well. So I was like editing all the time. So I was like sitting down, I was podcasting. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you're editing your own videos, it does take a long time to sit down and do it, and you are just sitting there. So that was a bad time. We call those the dark ages. Dawn's dark ages. Fuck, guys, honestly, I'm considering taking my trousers off. I'm like really hot. I've got like a light, and it's hot, and this is wool. And I've got jogging bottoms on, so I'm going to take my socks off. Maybe that'll help. And then I'm not actually just sat in my pants because, well, I wouldn't say no to that. I feel like one day I'm going to start like properly interviewing people on my podcast, and I'll be like, is that right if I just get into my pants? No, Dawn. Well, maybe that's my thing. Maybe that could be my USP. Okay, talking about USP. Oh, God. Okay, this is quite a complicated section. And I kind of hate myself for it a little bit, right? Because over the time, that January to May time, the dark ages, we'll just call it. Over the dark ages, I was really struggling for money. Okay, so I wanted my YouTube channels to take off. In essence, I wanted to be famous, in inverted commas, because I was like, that will mean I have money. And at that time I didn't, and I was really like, fuck, desperate, and I just wanted to make money. So that was kind of really stressful because it's not often an overnight success. Obviously I was making so many videos, so they were all kind of mediocre or shit. Actually, some of them were good, to be fair. I rewatched a couple of today, and I was like, some of the Kilimanjaro ones are quite good. And yeah, so that was, the dark ages were hard, okay? I questioned myself a lot. I was like, what are you doing? And it kind of felt like it was like my whole life was like on the YouTube line. And it was, I think my whole worth and my whole being was like reflected by that I'm so fucking hot. Right, I'm taking my trousers off. That's better. I think I'll let you know in 5 minutes as to whether that worked. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Trousers are off. I've told you about my hot issues before. It's okay, I don't need to talk about it again, but I just get really hot when I'm making stuff. Because, I don't know, I get like into it. Passion. So, okay, so I put a lot of my self-worth on how many views I was getting. And I have this here. I don't know if I want to show it to you. Basically, it's kind of like a diary scribble, but I have it next to me. I'll read it out. I'm not going to show it to you. It's basically a message to myself. because I was really struggling, okay? I'm just moving my pistachios. I was really struggling. I was like really questioning myself. I was like, what? Like, am I even any good at this? What's the fucking point? It was like I was a roller coaster, okay? It was bad. I wouldn't say I was like depressed. I would say I was like situationally depressed, but like it was a hard time. Lots of tears, lots of sadness. I mean, you can see it in some of my videos. I am not happy. Like, I could probably watch some of them. I was just so burnt out. I was like really trying to make it like work, and oh fuck, it was so hard. Anyway, I really wanted to express myself creatively, so it has a focus on that, okay? It says, oh, it's kind of sad. Oh, I just ripped it. This is going to be like an antique one day. I shouldn't rip it. Okay. It's literally like the ramblings of an insane woman. Me. It's in capitals, just for context. In full capitals, my letters sprawl across 3 lines. Like it's not straight. There's mistakes. I've corrected them. It's bad. It says, this should be a piece of artwork, like literally, even with the rip in it as well, like fire. I think what I just wanted people to recognise my creative outlet as like good art, but I know it wasn't good art because I was like so stressed. I wouldn't say you make good art when you're stressed. Questionable, but okay. It says, shall I scream it? You matter! Numbers don't! Creative expression! Goodbye, analytics! Value! Stop overthinking. Be yourself. Creative. Creativity! It's literally so manic. Anyway, moving on. I was honestly, but like I look back at that and I'm like, I might frame it. Kind of love it. It's like Tracy Emin, you know, that thing she did with her bed. And it was just like, oh, that's art, is it? And like that to me represents so much. It represents, I feel how I was feeling at the time. You can feel the desperation. Oh God, it like honestly, that's moving. That's a moving piece right there. It's honestly a mess. Okay, anyway, so that was a very big issue. So then I went back to work and I kind of relaxed a bit on YouTube. I was like, okay, I don't need to like fucking make a video every day, kill myself over it because I have money coming in now, right? So that really relaxed the pressure off of me. I still podcasted 3 or 2 times a week. I can't remember when I dropped it down. I was doing 3 and then it was killing me, so I did 2. I'm doing 2. And basically I started working and then I was like, okay, fine, I can breathe again. And then obviously when you're working, you can't make as many videos. You've got a job. You're tired after that and you're exhausted mentally and you haven't got like as much time, obviously. Now I only work 30 hours a week, like it's not loads. That is enough for me to like do fine. And then I have 4 days a week where I'm doing shit like this. So today is Thursday. I'm working tomorrow, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. That's generally my work schedule at the moment. Boo, boo, boo. Hate it. I don't particularly want to do 3 days in a row, but whatever. Oh, boo-hoo. I work 3 days a week, and they're in a row, and they're on the weekend. Things could be worse, Dawn. You could be back in your dark ages. So I will say at that point, I would have been like, yeah, I'll be famous. But I think it was coming from a bad place. It was coming from a desperate place. It was coming from a place where I was like, I don't have any other options. I need this to work. And it was never going to happen, you know, like my content wasn't, I wouldn't say it was there. And you can tell when people are making content to become famous and whether they're making content because they like it, I would say. So now I guess, where am I? Okay, well, this is what the whole episode's about, right? It's the whole it's the whole like reason why I started making this episode, because I've my scary taste of fame, as I call it. I think we have to I think we have to think, like, why do people want to be famous? So, like I said, mine was coming from a bad place. Mine was coming from financial difficulties, but also I would say it was coming from a place of wanting to be validated. And is that any different now? I don't know. But it's like I feel more comfortable in myself, that I don't feel like I need to be validated. Unfortunately, it feels nice to be validated. I wouldn't say I was ever validated as a child. I was sort of left to run about and do my own thing, really. So, which is, you know, has benefited me as a person, but because you can definitely go the other way and have too much validation, and then you are constantly also seeking it. So there is some element of validation, I would say, to boost my own self-esteem, my own self-worth. But I would say the dark ages, that was like way worse. And now I think it's coming from a more relaxed place. And it's like, I don't need this to validate me. And I'm actually trying not to let it validate me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to put this out there because I like it. And the reason why I want to make videos and put them out there is, yes, to help people, like the podcast. I hope it helps people, you know, or it's like an interesting story or a fun story. So like maybe entertainment as well. But it's like, I like doing it, and I like stories. I like making stories. I've always fucking loved a story. Someone who can tell a good story is fire to me. My dad used to read me bedtime stories. People entrance me when they read stories, when they tell me stories. I love a story. So for me, if I can tell funny, entertaining stories, that's goals right there. So that's where I'm trying to get. I'm trying to become a great storyteller. Am I there yet? No. Am I part the way there? Maybe 10%, maybe 20%. I don't know. What you gauging it on. So yeah, that is where my why I want to be successful now is it would be nice to have some money, you know, obviously, for your efforts. But mainly it's because I want to pursue the artist inside of me. I want to be artist. I don't know what this is. I want to be an artist of filmmaking. I don't know. Look, I've got no qualification in it. Do I want one? No, not right now. I'm kind of happy the thing is, I think if you get a qualification in it, you end up you learn other people's skills, because that's, you know, it's passed down, right? But I think my main goal is to find my own, find my own style. That's the word. Find my own style. I want people to go, oh, that looks like it was made by you. And I don't know if I'm there yet. So there are other reasons why people want to be famous. Glamorous, luxurious lifestyle. They want to have influence on the world. They want to leave a legacy. They feel neglected by society or by their parents, maybe. So they want people to recognise them. I'd say that's quite a lot of the world, quite a lot of people who want to be famous, I would say. And I think that's it. Social connection. I don't think many people go into it because they're like, I want to make friends. I don't know, maybe I'm seeing this really skeptically, but it's quite a transactional world, I feel. And I think that's what I'm not going to like about it. That's kind of how it felt when I was doing acting. Not that I'm not doing it now, but when I was, doing it recently, it did feel like networking is a nicer way to say I'm licking their ass, right? That's the way I see it. And you don't do that in medicine because it does get you places, but it doesn't really. Like, you actually have to go through a central training program and like apply to stuff, whereas in creative fields it's not the case. So anyway, obviously I'm always wanting to be nice to people, but I don't want to like have to suck up to someone just to get something. I don't know. I just find that really hard. I want people to like want me for my merits, not for what I can financially offer them or whatever. I don't know. So I was recently watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I don't know why. I started watching it and then I was like, no. Oh, my tummy pain really hurts. Oh, okay. I started watching it because I am sort of weirdly obsessed with LA. But then I realised I think I'd had enough of it because I was like, it's all staged, 100%. It is. There are obviously some parts that aren't. Like some people went into hospital, right? So you can't really stage that as such. But, a lot of it is. I think a lot of the drama, if there is no drama, they end up creating it and then resolving it. And it's like, well, it really wasn't that dramatic, was it? But anyway, I also just realised how fake everyone looked. And I was like, no one's faces move. They're all like, yeah, oh my god. Oh no, my eyebrows moved too much then. No, my eyebrows are moving too much. Their eyebrows don't move. And I was like, oh my god, I've never seen it before. You know when you see it like fleetingly on a picture or whatever? Okay, fine, whatever. Because you can't see their face trying to move but not moving. And then you see a whole group of them with so much Botox and so many fillers and stuff like that. I do not judge anybody for this. Like, I've thought about it myself. Of course I have. Who hasn't? And I'm not to say I would be opposed to it in the future, but like, I was like, oh my god, they all look plastic. Like, and I saw it. It like hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was like, wow. So that felt really uncomfortable. To then be like, okay, well, that is what the top fame looks like. And it wasn't just the Kardashians, it was like people around them and stuff like that. And obviously I've heard other people who live in LA talk about it, and to me LA is like the centre of celebrities, and it's like that's like the kind of world that it is. It's just weird. I don't know. Oh, things are happening in my abdomen right now. It's hurting, okay? I don't know where it's come from. What did I eat? Nothing different to normal. Oh my god, my food is in the oven. Oh, sorry about that. Wait there, let me just get Tom to take it out because I was going to and then I forgot. Okay. I fear it might be burnt now. I don't want to answer. Fuck's sake. 1 second. Could you take my stuff out the oven, please? It smells like it's gonna die. Out of the oven! No, the oven! Thank you. Oh, for how long that took, I may as well have just gone down and done it myself. Anyway, I was in the flow. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna be sick. Ugh. Pain and disaster is happening today. I think it's coming up this way, which is an easier way to come out, in my opinion. Okay, come on. Okay, let's talk about my taste of fame. This is such a funny episode. I'm like, it's just a bit scatty, isn't it? This is like the scattiest episode ever, just in terms of physicality. Like, my mind is on point today. Often my mind's just all over the place and I'm like, oh my god, what did I say? Okay, so I mean, there are people who don't want to be famous, and I get that. People don't want to be like, because there are negatives to being famous, getting chased down the street, getting death threats. Apparently people think that's okay to do that to humans, but I think when people become celebrities, they become like a alternative being. They're not human anymore, apparently. They don't have feelings. Because they have loads of money, their feelings don't matter. I don't think that's true, okay? This is my biggest bugbear, is that people can make death threats. If I went up to someone in the street and said, I'm going to kill you, would I be arrested? Maybe. Would the police come? Yes. I don't know how it works, but do you know what I mean? Like, and then when they're famous, it's okay. I think that should be an offence. To send someone a death threat? Like, sort your fucking life out. Seriously. I don't think I've ever messaged someone, like, famous and been like, I'm going to kill you and your children. Like, why? Anyway, we don't need to go into the psyche of strange people, but I think there is a feeling of like, we own you because we have given you fame or whatever, or there's jealousy, or I don't know. I think some people think they can just do it and get away with it and it's like funny or whatever. I do not know, but anyway, I don't think it's okay. So also, obviously, if you're Justin Bieber, you can't just walk around. No, it's not going to happen. Everything you do is heavily scrutinised. Your personal life is for everyone to know. Things are made up about you that aren't true. And that must be really hard, because it's like, you don't have to keep correcting, but like, they're making up headlines that are false, right? And I'm trying to think of other things. There are obviously a lot of positives. Well, obviously, there are positives. Money, life is easier when you have money. Come on, let's be honest. Oh, another negative is that you don't know who's your friend. Like, who's your true friend and who's just trying to get to you for status, money, their fame as well. Like, how do you know who's genuine? That's really hard. I'm a fairly good judge of character, so I think I could probably tell, but then you've also got to bat lots of people away that are like difficult. And yeah, I think there are a lot of negatives. I think some of the positives are, you do get to do really cool stuff. You get basically praised for your achievements, you get praised for your talents, if it's a talent related thing. You get invited to cool stuff, you get free stuff like free clothes or whatever. There are benefits for sure. You get remembered. That's a big one. You have a legacy. Life's easier when you have money, for sure. But there are also downsides to that. So let's talk about my taste of fame. Guys, I don't want to big it up. Like, it's not mega. Recently, I had a couple of videos take off. My last few videos, actually. I seem to have hit some kind of way of editing, something. I had a lot of thinking. I did a lot of thinking. And I was like, right, what am I going to do? When I think creatively, this happens over a long time. It's not like, oh yeah, bang. It's like, I'll be not asleep, but in bed, and then suddenly it'll just come to me. Or I'll be driving, it'll just come to me. Or I'll be thinking about something over a period of a week. So I do find it, at the moment I've got loads of ideas lined up, but like sometimes I am a bit like, I just want to mull something over for a while. So recently I have had a few videos take off for my channel. They've taken off. One of them is just about to reach 10,000 views. It doesn't sound like a lot. I know it's not. I'm not comparing, but the thing is I'm comparing myself to myself, okay? For me, that's a lot. 10,000. And it's only going up. It's literally like, so it's doing pretty well. It's not viral, but you never know when it's going to like, if it's going to do that, if it's going to plateau, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. At the moment, it's just like a straight cut, like a straight linear line. I also have one other one. Okay, I have another one that's going up. I have another one that's at 20k views, but I don't really count that one. It was like 2 years ago. I'm like over it. And I thought about taking it down, but obviously people are still watching it. So I'm like, well, must be some use. Anyway, recently, one of my videos, I published it, and the next day, it was on 3.1k views. Never had that, except on a short, right? A short, you can get 5k views or whatever, and it's like, whatever. But I was like, oh my God, my like long form video just blew for my channel, okay? I know it's not like 10 million views, but whatever. It blew up for me. And I was like, oh my God, what's it going to be tomorrow? And then it plateaued. But in that moment, this is not the only thing, by the way. In that moment, I was like, oh my God, is this like the beginning of the end? Like, well, I don't know. And I was freaking out because I was like, I kind of want like a nice upward, so I can kind of get used to the situation, right? I don't want like a, and then now everybody knows who I am. It's kind of terrifying, isn't it? You have no control over it. But alas, that might happen. Who knows? Then, the other day, on the back of my 10,000k video, 10,000 views video, 10,000k, I got an email, and I talked about it in one of my podcasts, right? Saying TV inquiry. I got them twice. Got that email twice. I didn't reply quick enough. So they've already made the video. It is on. I did say, like, yeah, well, I'm happy to talk about it. But that's like the first kind of proper inquiry I've had. And this video was made by Channel 4. It's on YouTube. It'll probably be on TV. And they wanted to put my video in it. It was done by Anna Richardson. For those of you who don't know, she's I don't know how to describe her in terms of like American or like well-known American presenter. I don't know. Maybe like Louis Theroux. I know he's British, but he's done a lot of stuff in America. Like kind of similar to that, like a journalist. But she does like body stuff, self-improvement-y stuff, like stuff like that. And anyway, it came out the other day on Channel 4. I missed the boat, which is fine, whatever, I don't mind. And because I don't know what would have come from that. I'm quite happy at the moment for my YouTube channel just to do its thing in the background. But I was like, oh my God, how are they going to spin it? And that is something then that I started thinking like, oh my God, this is the future. This is the future where if I become famous, then anything I make could be spun. And they're not going to ask me. They're just going to do it. And then I was like, oh my God. And that really made me question it, because I was like, then I started thinking, if that went on TV and stuff, then does that change my life overnight? I don't know. That kind of freaked me out. I'm like, I can be fine with it changing over the period of a year, but like overnight is scary. And then if you're an overnight success, like then that's it, I think. Sometimes it is just like it's rapid onset, rapid drop off. So that was kind of terrifying. Maybe I overreacted, but that really freaked me out. And I was like, oh my God, what should I do? So anyway, that decision was taken away from me because it was like, well, doesn't matter. But anyway, that has changed my views on fame. Now I am not like striving to get 5 million views on everything. I'm just like, well, we'll just see what happens. I'm fine. And on that note, the camera is about to finish in half a minute, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share with your friends, family, whoever likes backseat positivity. Monday and Tuesdays I upload twice a week. It's also on YouTube at Dawn Barlow, or you can listen on the go. Just type in backseat positivity to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks and bye. I had to do that so quickly. Oh, love you.